Okay, so let's call to order and have a roll call if you'll state your first name and last name. Laurelyn Bockelman.
John Evans.
Teresa Wakefield,
Jordan Jones.
Rebecca Daly.
Is Natalie joining us?
I did not get a text from her, nor did she say that she would be via Zoom.
Okay. So missing is Natalie. Triplet, right?
Yep.
And Rob. Okay, do we have any public or non-agenda items?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
Fun bunch.
We're supposed to talk now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're excited to have you here, so.
Hi, I'm John Reed. This is Kyle Griffin. We are board members for Northgate Disc Golf Club. We have been part of the community in the area for the disc golf course here specifically since 2014. I believe. Is that our origin? Yeah, I believe so. It's been, we've grown the club to one of the more prominent clubs for the sport in Northern Colorado. Wellington is our origin for our club. We did move down to Anheuser-Busch Brewery when that course went in. We did that specifically due to just some difficulties that we had at the course here. The east side of the course is kind of hard for us to work with. It's very popular now. Fishing, people at the gazebo, that baseball diamond, stuff like that. And it's just caused a safety concern. Kyle brought in some discs. You can see that they're kind of sharp on the end here. People think they get hit with the frisbee frisbee they got at the bank, and it's not like that. They can do some serious damage. We don't want to do that. Our number one goal and concern
Ooh, pretty.
and the club is to be good stewards and to work with the community. We don't want people seeing disc golfers and getting a negative connotation attached to that. So we've had some difficulties. I ran a tournament here last year that was difficult because of that. I had to do a lot of roping off the course and stuff like that to keep non-disc golfers out because of safety concerns. And it's just been difficult. I believe Kyle had a walkthrough earlier this week to kind of go over some ideas. And what we would like is some allocated funds and some effort from the community to make the course here more playable, more safe, and more beginner friendly. The course is known in the disc golf community as fairly difficult. It's known as very challenging. That's awesome. The problem is that it's really hard when it's the only course in the area to get people interested. People play one time up here, they go get a little beginner set and it's super fun, and then they lose all of them by hole 3 because it's a very difficult course. You gotta be pretty high level to play it in its current level, in its current layout, especially with the wind we have here. We have some great advantages. If this were to be taken an undertaking, as you probably are all aware, Discmania, one of the top 5 companies in the sport, right here in Wellington, Colorado. As the only course in the area, they would definitely like to be involved with this. It would be a huge slap in the face to them to have an outside company come in and put their restaurant right in their kitchen. They don't really want that. So we'd be able to get them heavily involved. They have a world champion course designer that with that investment would come in and put that in. And it would be a huge advantage to have them involved. They have a lot of resources. They're very close. Most of the time when they put one of the, I believe 500 courses is what they put in worldwide. Usually they go put it in, they leave, that's the end of it. But with them being right here, there would be some effort from them. We do have other concerns with the course that go outside of just course design. We would need bridges installed as well. ADA bridges. We have people in our league that have mobility issues. We'd like to get it so we can have elderly people play. Things like that. We'd like it to be more taken care of. We'd have concrete calverts put in the past, but anytime there's any water, that flooding causes big concerns, stuff like that. It just causes safety issues.
Which side?
What?
The west side.
The west side of the creek that runs through there. I know it has a name. I do not know the name. Okay. It's a great thing for people of standard mobility, but as the number on my age and the scale keeps going up, it gets a little harder for me to get across that creek now. So it definitely, if we could get some bridges and stuff like that, would be big for us as well. We understand that it's always rough to come in and ask for money with stuff like that, but we just like to kind of get it a little bit more exciting so we can get more people up here. We really like the community up here. Even with the loss of Soul Square, the breweries and stuff like that attract a lot of disc golfers, restaurants, things like that. we've gotten great success across the country with more courses being added. That's why disc golf courses are being added every year, and golf courses are being removed because of the cost effectiveness and what they bring to the community. And it'd just be really, I think we think it'd be beneficial to both the city and to our club and to everyone involved. If we could upgrade the course here, add some stuff to the west side of the course to make it more beginner friendly. And then keep that east side open for when it is available, but also kind of encourage people to stay away from that area if that baseball diamond's in use, things like that. This is the first time I've ever done that, so I don't quite know what information you guys would need from us.
Do you have an idea on the cost? I feel like you're saying in this.
Yeah,
one,
so for working with Discmania, the cost would be somewhere in the probably $20,000 range for the top package. That's with getting their course designer out here, top tier tee signs, baskets, tee pads. The tee pads for Discmania are actually very well known. They do a really specific thing that's not known, and it's better long term than some other tee pad options out there.
Okay.
AstroTurf.
Yeah, AstroTurf, but it's got this base underneath it that's really popular that kind of keeps it going a lot longer. It's not just nail into the dirt.
Okay,
Sorry, okay.
well, I don't know anything about
Yeah, that's fine.
Disc golf, so
Most people.
that's helpful,
We're-
yeah.
We're used to it. Did you wanna bring something?
Yeah, I mean,
So one of the other options we could have to increase that playability, it would increase the cost, and it's not a number I would have any idea of knowing. One of the other growing versions of golf that you can actually use in the exact same area is foot golf, and it's soccer balls being kicked into a big hole in the ground. You can use the same area of the baskets. It's not like a different area of land. You can use the same thing. To our knowledge and research, there's 2 in the country right now. A third one here would bring people here that are really interested in foot golf. Like I said, I have no idea what the cost additive for that would be. I can't imagine it would be that much more, given that they'd be using the same area and kind of pin location and things like that.
yeah, it's attached to the basket,
Well,
so basket sits here and just below it is a
Oh,
hole,
it's really,
so you can use them both, Pretty cool. And I
Okay.
think there's 3 to it. There's like some sort of golf involved with it too, like a plastic club. I don't know too much about it, but we're kind of diving in and starting to understand what it might look like. So
Okay,
it's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
To think about.
Before I forget, I'd also like to be known, neither one of us speaks for Discmania. This is just kind of where we liaise with Discmania. They support our league. We're really close with a lot of their group. They're really involved with the community. So I can't say exactly what that price would be, but that would be kind of the ballpark that I would put it at.
Billy, did you say that you guys play at Anheuser-Busch down there, right? Because we drive by, how many people do you have? Because it looks like it's like huge, massive.
Yeah, so right now they closed the beer garden. It
Yeah.
used to be people that would go in there casually.
Right,
My club attracts between 40 to 60 people per week.
I was gonna say, you look like a pretty
yeah.
good crowd over there all the time, so I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I would support you all the way, so.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
There's a second club, the Friday Fun League. It gets about 30 people.
Oh, is that right?
They play tournaments up there. Tournaments is really where you get big turnouts. A tournament can average between 72 to 90 people for a standard tournament. If there's different variations of tournaments, you can get in the hundreds. And those people that do that, if there would be like a 2-round tournament and stuff like that, we would be able to get hotels getting some activity and things like that, people wanting to stay in the area as well. So, I don't know if there's a town in Emporia or in Kansas called Emporia, Kansas. It's kind of known as like the Mecca of disc golf. Now I'm not asking for that level of commitment. They've got a course on every corner, but it changed their economy. It's like disc golf Sturgis out there. They have 4 or 5 tournaments a year and it's a festival. So they get a lot of activity from that as well.
that's great. We've, just meaning when they first came, they did present to our board, so we are familiar. I think we all are really supportive of disc golf. We're just not always sure what is needed. So this is great. Thank you.
Thank you. This is all volunteer for us. We don't pull salary for this and that's fine. We understand we're just trying to add to the community. So if there's any information you guys need from us, we're more than happy to answer any of those. If it comes down to availability and things like that, we can ask for volunteer help and we usually get it occasionally. Where disc golf courses in this area specifically can really run into problems is the upkeep, and I'm not talking like basket maintenance, I'm talking more about mowing, things like that. Once the grass gets above shin deep, it's impossible to play. So just kind of aware it's that initial cost and then just the upkeep. The Wellington course is usually kept very, very clean and very well done. Obviously, when you get biblical level flooding and rain like we've gotten this year,
Yeah,
it's a little harder to keep on top of. People are fairly understanding of that, but for the most part, kind of that same level of involvement would be appreciated if we were to be able to expand, redesign the course and kind of be able to make it a little bit safer and make it more open to the obvious development that's continuing in the area. We've lost 5 or 6 baskets over the last 8 years due to the development on the east side of the course. That's fine. We understand it's a free sport, so it's kind of hard to argue, you know, but if we can just kind of get areas that we know aren't going to be sold in anytime soon, that would be awesome.
do we have contact information for both of you?
No, but I'd be happy to give it out. You might have yours. I don't.
Yeah, I think they have mine, so.
Okay,
Awesome.
perfect.
Absolutely. I'd love to get you guys a tour of the disc manufacturer. We were talking about it yesterday and they want to bring you guys in and give you some discs and just show you what's happening in there. Because they have 2 warehouses of distribution and it's insane. It's just discs.
Cool.
As far as I can see, it's.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Trip time.
We're gonna organize something if we can work with you too,
Yeah,
bring you all in.
absolutely. That'd be cool.
I think that'd be really cool too, to be able to see it.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any preliminary drawings or anything of what you're looking at, or?
We would want to know if there'd be the availability for expansion into any areas that are currently being used.
Oh, okay,
Kind of one of those things, we don't want to draw ourselves into a corner and kind of look
Right.
at what we want. Disc golf, like regular golf or any other kind of sport like this, the bigger the area always gives more opportunities, but we also can't just have that. We like areas of trees.
right.
One of the beauties of disc golf is we can use ugly land. Land that has a creek running through it that kind of ruins everything else. That's our bread and butter. Those are the areas we like the most. So if there's any stuff like that, that's you guys can see is available. And we don't want to just also limit it to this area that we currently have and expanding from there. There's other parts around town. The discussion of maybe a second course, a beginner course, so that way we can keep this one a little bit more challenging. Would be a possibility as well. We really want to work with the town, whatever you guys find available. We just want to grow our sport.
We had talked about a second course at one point when Discmania came in. And we had talked about when they expand Wellington Community Park, because that park's gonna extend further. Then maybe we could find a way to get a course that was stretched out across through there, where there's actual land that isn't being used for playgrounds and baseball diamonds currently.
Is that a Buffalo Creek?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, so that park's gonna extend through the next neighborhood whenever they get that one built.
Yeah.
So when you guys are looking at that, one of our biggest, our number one priority is the safety.
Yeah.
My league, I can control my league. I can tell them we're not throwing here. There's cars parked there. There's kids playing softball. Unfortunately, like everything, 1% ruins it for the rest. And we, like everything else, have people that don't follow rules. They're not courteous. They don't follow etiquette and they throw things. And I don't want to be messing with people's yards. I don't want to be thrown into the roads. I don't want to be, there's courses we've seen that go over playgrounds and it's like, that's cool when there's no kids there, but when there's kids there, only the annoying people are the ones that are throwing over children. And it takes one kid getting smacked in the head to close a course and ruin the sport for the entire community. So like when we're thinking of that, we just don't want to bother anyone.
Yeah,
That's all.
I think some of the other issues that you brought up, the crossing over the creek was brought up then. And I do remember there was an issue with that because it is the box elder. Because of certain storm events, they would be worried that would either be carried away or would prevent debris from actually flowing.
Which is what the concrete culverts have done in the past.
Yeah. So I think that we'd have to look into that a different way with whoever, could make the call on that, but
There is always the option to design it in a way where the only time you should cross the creek would be at those larger crossings.
Yeah.
That are roads. That would be pretty limiting to our design, but at the same time, once again, if there's big concerns that are gonna be either incredibly cost prohibitive or safety or anything like that, we can definitely be as flexible as possible. We just wanna work with you guys.
and trees came up in the conversation too.
Okay.
I don't remember what our limit on that one. I think it was just money wise. Cause I played that course and I took my kids, there was no way we were even going to the east side of the interstate by the time we were done on the west side.
Mhm.
They just couldn't get it done. They are smaller, but
It's a lot of course to chew off.
Yeah.
And it's the only course in the 8-mile radius, and the other one's Anheuser-Busch, which isn't exactly a short course either.
Yeah,
We have a spoil of really challenging courses, and we don't want to lose that as an option. But at the same time, we also don't want to stifle the development for newer players. Curse and a blessing, COVID is really good to disc golf in terms of growth. People who play competitive sports, group sports, got shut down. Suddenly they're looking for something you can do outdoors, something that doesn't have other people around, and it's cheap and, in some cases free. Disc golf is really attractive to them, so the sport has exploded over the last few years. Now we're running into a bit of a bottleneck with courses.
see, the course I grew up around. Is the first 9 were like your beginner set.
Mhm.
So if you were just starting out, you could just do the first 9 and you were done. And then the last 9 made a huge loop around the back, and I think by 12 you were like 500, 700 yard holes.
Mhm.
And it was just like, all right, well, you didn't play that if you just weren't that good.
Yeah,
So that would be something maybe to consider moving forward with a redesign if we
that's
do.
definitely something that we talked about. We'd
Yeah.
like to do is we'd like to have kind of like a situation where beginning players have something, but then more advanced players can either throw past that or a different layout or something like
Right.
that within the realm of safety.
Well, I mean, ideally, if we had enough land, there would be a 27 hole course, and then your back 9 would be your hard set. I had one of those buttoned by me too.
Yeah.
La Mirada Regional in California.
Oh, yeah, La Mirada is world famous.
Yeah, and then El Dorado is when I grew up around.
Okay, yep.
So,
The first course, right in that area, I think it's the first course ever.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, El Dorado's been there for 20-something years at least, so it's gotta be one of the early ones.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about disc golf a few times after Disc Mania. And it is something we want to do. We just need to figure out the logistics to some of the details. And then obviously, where do we get the money from?
And ADA, we are, ADA is a priority for the board. So we can add that to some of the lists of things that we're trying to talk about and discuss and work on, so.
It's top of mind for us. I have a player in my league who's got motor skill issues, and disc golf hasn't exactly really taken a lot of effort into looking into that. And I watched him fall into a few creeks, and we gotta, help him and stuff like that. Another thing, there's 1 bathroom on the course, or there's 2 if you include the east side as well. Not to say that we want more, it's just one of the top complaints from female players is lack of bathrooms in disc golf. So when you think about that, if there's any expansion, that's always something that we like to do.
Well, thank you for coming. We
Thank you,
really
guys.
appreciate it. I think actually several things for us to think about here, so thank you. It's very nice to meet you.
Thank you. This is for, do I just leave now?
You
You are
can,
welcome to hang out. You guys, everybody's welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, however you want to do it, but
But I appreciate it.
yes.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks so much, guys.
And once again, like Kyle said, if you guys get a chance to go to the Discmania warehouse, it's pretty eye-opening to the scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll link up with Billy and Eric and we'll schedule something.
Yeah, I really like, that'd be cool.
Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
Wait, can I go back to public comment real quick? I'm so sorry, but I have just a couple people came to me. One of them is a interest in the dog park as far as like used to be where they would go in and clean it up and you would have the red clay showing, and now we don't. It's just overgrown with grass. So is that something that's going to be maintained or not?
Let's hold on to that one until we get to the end of the meeting
Okay.
and the other.
Perfect.
Any additions or edits to the minutes? Anybody want to make a motion to approve the minutes from July?
make a motion, we approve the minutes from July 19th, 2023 meeting.
Maybe a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, board review and discussion action items. Billy?
Last time we started talking about, well, I guess a couple meetings, maybe making a subcommittee for fundraising. We didn't have everybody. We're missing 1 member tonight. So if we want to go forward with potentially getting a subcommittee for group partnerships and fundraising when projects are kind of getting pushed forward within the committee. I think it'd be beneficial personally to have someone head that up. We had talked about voting for kind of a chairperson for that position. If anybody wants to volunteer.
Is this in general of all projects, or is this just talking, because when I was here the last time, I think it was just strictly for the memorial
I think
by
it's,
the park.
the design would be for someone to step in for all of the projects and kind of make that their role on this committee, finding people either within this committee or outside sources to help with funding some of these projects that we might not have full funding from town budget. And we did want to vote with as much of the full group as we possibly could, so we tabled that. So if you guys want to discuss that further within the committee.
Anybody have an interest in heading that up?
I would be interested in talking about it at least. I would just like to know exactly what it entails. I mean, I don't mean to make it sound like I don't have, I don't want to take the time, but I don't have a huge amount of time. So if that's something that, I guess I would just like to know a little bit more as far as the commitment, how many projects we're talking about, what exactly that entails and everything. So that would be my,
I mean, as far as the kind of the pattern for what we're doing right now, we're really kind of trying to tackle seemingly like one project at a time. We have a group list of things that we could work on, and we do work on.
okay,
Like right now, the main project we're focusing on as far as getting started and completion is the memorial. So that
okay,
would probably be the first undertaking. And I don't think if one person took on that lead role or of the subcommittee, there would be too much pushed onto them as far as any little things that come up on the side for other projects. I mean,
okay,
it could happen, and that's why I guess, multiple people on this committee could help out, but you would kind of be in
Right.
charge of, that person would be in charge of kind of making the headway on the partnerships and the
Okay.
connections and stuff like that.
okay. And when that was originally brought up, also, we talked about like having, sorry, I don't remember your name. I apologize. Eric, and we had talked about like getting like preliminary plans, because we had talked about fundraising, going to
Mhm.
companies, getting a lot of that stuff. And we talked about like getting projections as far as like the cost, and then drawn up plans and everything. Because in my experience, that would be an absolute must before we even start going out to companies, right? We have to, something that we need to present to them so that they see where their money is going to.
Right.
Otherwise, I personally would not feel comfortable going to a company and saying, oh, by the way, would you like to donate to this project that we're thinking about or trying to happen? They're gonna look at me and they're gonna be like, okay, well, I need projections, I need costs, I need completion date, I need approval.
Of course.
So,
Yeah, and at the last meeting, we discussed a community member is working on renderings of what it's gonna look like,
Oh,
a
gotcha,
model
okay.
of what it will look like.
Okay.
And we sat down and had a discussion with them and people from the town as well to kind of dial in the plans for what it's going to be, what it's
Okay.
going to look like.
Okay.
And then once we have those plans, we'll kind of set an idea of how we're going to do the funding, whether it's tiered funding for the entire project. And that's something that we can come up with here once we have the plans ready and.
okay,
And those are almost done.
Okay.
well,
Thank
they're
you.
almost done.
And in lieu of, all the other things we have on there, what I will say is that we'll set aside, once those plans come, that will be basically an agenda for the agenda for one of these meetings.
Okay,
And we will dive into that and follow up on every month, we'll follow up on that as far as getting it going. But we have, commitment from Public Works to help out with that. The town we met with, multiple at the town, and we can, like I said, we can discuss that further when the renderings come in.
okay. And would that be an additional meeting, or is that something that we would talk about in this meeting?
Something we do here, if there needed to be a special meeting, but yeah,
Okay,
we want the entire committee involved, for
Okay.
sure.
And the committees do have opportunity to meet outside the standard board meetings too. So if
Okay.
there was a separate conversation or a focused conversation, you're welcome to do that. The nice thing about being the chair is you schedule it, you determine when
Right.
and when. So,
Right.
and it can have members that are not on this board also in that committee.
Oh, gotcha.
So you can
do
get
that, okay.
tons of outside help. I know a lot of people are
Oh,
passionate
okay.
about those kind of things, but don't want to
Okay.
be on a board. So
Oh, gotcha.
that's an
Okay.
opportunity too.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
So maybe.
Can I
we-
just say that I'm interested?
Yep.
But I'm a little, I just need, I just don't want to say, yeah, I'm all in and then not be able to help out. So I just need to kind of
And
maybe have, I hate to say this, but just maybe a little bit of time to think about
Yeah.
that. Okay,
Yeah, or if a couple of board members from this board want to be a part of that and can help get it organized and get it going
okay,
and then, hopefully we'll get community members to
to come in,
and be part of that. And
right,
I mean, this is kind of a growing thing, right?
Right.
And so, yeah,
okay,
I'd be interested in assisting with it. I don't know that I want to run it out, but. I would definitely be involved. You could count on me to come to meetings and
oh, great.
anything
okay,
else and maybe even reach out to people.
Okay,
So I'd help out.
I mean, you can co-chair it.
I mean, that would be my deal too. I would think, I would be definitely interested in take a portion of it,
okay,
but I would not want to chase everybody around.
chase everybody.
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be-
and this doesn't exist yet. So really,
right.
whatever
Right.
the
Yeah.
capacity of how this committee works is based on this first committee to really design that and create a model or
Okay,
that kind of thing. So.
and like input and everything would
Yeah.
be accepted and all that kind of stuff, right?
And the idea isn't to just say, hey, we've got a plan, you're the chair of the committee, now go find all the funding. That's not what this, it's really just
Okay.
about getting things together, possibly outside this meeting, getting another meeting set, maybe working on the list of partners and then delegating things for people to go out and do, just
Okay,
organized.
so that not everything keeps falling
Yeah.
on Laurelyn as the chair of the board to be,
And they can be Zoom meetings. They don't have to actually be in person, or they could be anywhere, coffee shop or whatever.
oh, gotcha, okay.
And they
so
could
there's
just
a lot of
pretty much be like
flexibility there.
brainstorming,
Okay.
just getting ideas together that are easier to present back here to these guys and
Okay,
the rest of the board. So
okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm interested in doing it. I think it would be kind of fun and I would love to bring some of my experience from my previous fundraising into that if I could, I mean, or, whatever, at least present some of the ideas and see how everybody feels about it.
Need it. That'd be great.
Okay,
That's cool. Yes, sir.
Do you want to vote or is it
Uh,
something we vote on?
I don't think it's a necessary vote.
No, just
Okay.
forming a committee.
Yeah.
Alright.
yeah. We'll get to, so yes, the design should be done for the next meeting. We will have it as an agenda item. We can discuss on setting up the committee, I guess, at that point, right? If you guys want to start, brainstorming, right, and getting stuff ready, but
okay,
hopefully for the next meeting, you'll have a design to go off of,
that'd be awesome.
and then it'll
personally.
feel more tangible.
I think it makes it feel more real when
Yeah.
there's something in front of you that you can
Okay.
actually
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
look at and
Absolutely.
kind of visualize and everything. It's hard right now to kind of, but.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Cool.
Thank you.
Yikes, okay.
Do we have an idea on cost on any of this yet, or are we just really gonna wait for the rendering and then start looking at cost?
Yep, I think that's the best thing to
Okay.
do.
I thought somebody had a ballpark number that was
Well-
getting thrown around a little bit before.
It all just depends on how much we get with, if Jim Miller does the foundation and all the moving of the dirt,
Yeah,
how much is that gonna take off?
Mhm.
We did have some interest, talking with different people, there might be some interest from an engineer or designer to do it. I don't know if it would be pro bono or not, but like having someone actually look at it and then put some monetary value to it. Yeah, I could say, depending on what we do with it, it could be anywhere from 20 or 30,000 to 80 or 100 if it went grandiose and we found the funding to make it everything that it could be. But we also hopefully have it set up where we could do things in stages over
Right.
time to make it bigger and not bigger, but better, more attractive, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Does,
So that's
does
why
the
it's
city
still
have
coming
any
in there.
money that they're able to put toward this at all?
I mean, at this point, it's not anything that has set, like a capital project hasn't been set aside
Oh, okay.
for this specifically.
No, the board does have a discretionary fund, though, that we generally fund certain projects throughout the year.
I think it could be really beneficial if,
So that might be an ask that I think would definitely be popular. So
Okay.
that's definitely one of your partners to consider for sure as an ask.
And we can, we can prop all those ideas up
Okay.
when we get it down
Yes.
Yeah.
to an agenda item.
Okay.
Okay, let there be PROST appointment. So I've been speaking with the town clerk and that the spot on the board here that has been was open and then not filled due to no applicants. We kind of closed it for a while waiting. There was a little bit of talk back and forth whether or not we're going to really streamline all board appointments and make them a lot easier so that when when they become open, we know exactly the procedures for every board. So right now, they don't have a complete fix, but it was approved to reopen. So I just wanted to bring it back to this board and say we can open up that last seat now, or we can potentially wait until it falls in line with all of the other advisory boards or committees. So that's basically the information I was given. We can leave as soon as you give the okay, we can open it back up.
My feeling is we open it back up, we get somebody in here ASAP, let's try to find somebody really passionate. We have so much going on that it would be nice to get that seat filled.
I knew of one gentleman who applied, but said he never heard anything back, who has a great interest in being on the board, so. Just
Good.
moved into town, very, very interested, has some recreation background. So I think he could be a huge asset to the board, honestly. So anyway, maybe should I
Yep.
tell him to reapply?
I will let you guys know when the application goes live
Okay,
on the town website, and then however we want to get the information out. There've been a couple people that have contacted me as well.
okay,
And to be honest, I'm not sure exactly how much I can say, hey, go ahead, go ahead, but I can always refer to them to the town website and just say,
Yeah.
hey, you can tell when it's open, and it'll be in the town newsletter and all that kind of stuff that's put out. So once that's out there, it's easy just to say the application is on the town website under apply.
Okay. And then John and I would like to be part of the interview process.
And that was part of the idea of where we're moving forward and how that looks. So it can be streamlined rather than some of them looking one way and the others another way for different boards, but
Standardized, yeah.
yes, streamlined, standardized. Thank you. That's a better word.
Sweet, I like your word too.
Okay.
Wanna bring that up? So we talked about getting this mission statement finalized so that we can really put it out there. It kind of ties into starting to build the project, but this is what we had at the last meeting, or excuse me, at the last presentation. And as far as the vision goes, we talked about making sure that parks and trails and recreation and open spaces is in there. Because that is the board, right? So that will be changed in some capacity. And when I listened to the minutes, everybody kind of talked about looking at that last time and bringing back when we talked about it, any ideas, whether to change that just to add parks, trails, open spaces and recreation and open spaces and to keep it like that, or there were a bunch of ideas we threw out, but we kind of didn't want it to get too big, right? So. Thoughts?
are we voting on that now then, or just bringing ideas?
I think just start spitballing, and if we like
Yep.
something, let's get it done, because we keep kind of pushing this one down.
Yep.
I even from just create, improve, and maintain outdoor spaces and recreation programs within the town of Wellington that enhance the quality of life for the citizens of Wellington, something like that,
Yeah, and I was looking at it, and this is just one of my ideas. I just thought, maybe add in there somewhere like, active. You talked about the well-being of residents and everything, but I'm thinking like activities to, I gotta put my glasses on, sorry, can't even read what I wrote. Okay, along with activities to keep residents young and old engaged in healthy activity lifestyles. And I think that that's good to put in there, because when you think of Parks and Recs, I mean, recreation is activities, it's about keeping the community healthy and whatever. So I think it's important for people to see that, rather than have it just such a kind of general statement, maybe a little bit more personalized. That's my own thought.
Can you read it again?
I said, along with activities to keep residents young and old engaged in healthy, active lifestyles. So not necessarily taking anything away from what you have there, but just adding something like that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the young and old, I like that, that's.
I like the young and old because I'm old and you're all young, so.
Well, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. I want to be included in all this, okay? No.
You're talking
Multi.
multi-generational, thank you, yes, multi-generational, yeah.
I like it.
So as an addition at the end of this statement here, create, improve, and maintain outdoor spaces that enhance the quality of life for citizens in Wellington, and then go into that statement? Or do you think altering?
I was in the middle.
I think in the middle, I think it would be okay.
Quality of life for. One more time.
Okay. Quality of life with activities to keep residents young and old engaged in healthy, active lifestyles. How's that? Does that work?
What do you think?
I think we're gonna start from the top. Start from the top and read the whole.
Eric,
You
are
want me
you
to
able
do
to type it out and throw it up there?
Yep.
Sorry to put you on the spot, but I think we all need to kind of see it.
No, you're good.
It'd be so nice to have this taken off our list.
Yes.
I'm gonna insert something. I just hope that we challenge the word outdoor. That's the only one. I
Okay.
would like to challenge the word outdoor.
Okay.
As
Create,
limiting.
improve, and maintain.
Oh, and have it more.
Didn't delete or add any extra words, so just, it may not make sense yet.
Maintain. Okay, so create, improve, and maintain, could we just remove the outdoor, like create, improve, and maintain spaces? Or would you guys want to say?
We could say something like town of Wellington or something. We could specifically add.
High quality spaces or. I mean,
Create, improve.
we could use something like
Everyone's
inclusive
ever created.
spaces where we're making sure that it's,
Oh, that's a good word.
Inclusive spaces, that's good.
as they just came in and said, you know, they're working to improve the accessibility of the disc golf course, and
Okay.
we took that seriously. It's a very inclusive space.
Space,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
so spaces and relates to most of the PROST words, but recreation from programming and activities.
That's
maybe
what I
not.
was I was working on along with. I was trying to get recreational and
Spaces and activity, you can put the activities portion there, spaces and activities. That enhance the quality of life
That helps.
for residents, young and old, to engage in a healthy, active lifestyle.
Mhm.
That was good.
That was good. You just need an A after healthy. Engaged in. Oh, no, never mind. I'm sorry, I read it wrong. Engaged in healthy, active lifestyles. I got you. Okay. My bad. Okay,
So move along with activities.
Yeah.
Well, I think what I say for residents, young and old.
Yeah. Enhance the quality of life for residents. Okay.
To engage in healthy, active lifestyles.
Mhm.
Engage and.
To engage, yeah.
Okay, so if you change it to engage, wait, young and old to engage, there you go. And healthy lifestyle.
Who's gonna read it? Read it aloud and everybody close their eyes. And you say-
Yeah,
Ready?
The sentence doesn't make sense.
create
Yeah.
and improve and maintain inclusive spaces and activities that enhance the quality of life for residents, young and old, to engage in healthy, active lifestyles.
I like it. I think
You
it
gotta work
sounds.
on that, young and old to engage that.
Right here, this part,
Says,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
like, it chops out,
Yeah.
you know, it's almost like,
Great improvement.
To
in
promote,
inclusive
what would they
spaces
put
and
promoting under?
activities that enhance the quality of
I
life
don't-
for residents.
That promote.
To
health,
promote,
healthy,
yeah, to promote a healthy lifestyle.
To that.
we're getting to a new
That,
sentence.
that promote.
That promote healthy and happy or.
How about this, inclusive spaces and activities for residents by enhancing the quality of life.
For residents, young and old.
How about take the enhance the quality of life and with the healthy, active lifestyles and put those two pieces together.
Okay.
Enhance the active lifestyles. To improve the quality of life for residents, young and old. Promote with word.
Create, improve, and maintain inclusive spaces and activities that enhance and promote healthy, active lifestyles for residents, young and old.
It's pretty good. I think that sounds pretty good.
It sounds okay. I like it.
Thoughts?
How are they gonna know it's from Wellington without Wellington in it?
Yeah.
I'm
Well, I
kidding, of
know.
course. I like it, I like it.
Wellington residents.
No, don't add it, just,
No.
it's good, I like it.
Is old appropriate?
Young appropriate.
Is it inclusive?
Of all ages is typically more of a,
I just don't wanna,
Of all ages for resident.
for Wellington residents of all ages.
To be
I don't take
inclusive,
offense to old, but
Demographics.
Yeah.
seasoned.
I would encourage all, like, instead of just focusing on age, like
Yeah.
all demographics at some point.
Diversity.
But should we have it easy enough to read for kids as well, or should we make it more complex so they don't understand the big words? Then are we being inclusive of kids' reading levels?
Mm.
Let's be honest, if we wanna go that route, the inclusivity, just keep it young and old, somebody's offended, get over it.
I don't think that's offensive at all.
okay,
My first-
I
yeah.
just wanted to.
Yeah.
Or for all residents.
I mean, I'm stuck on residents because we want to bring outside people in too.
But as, I mean, I would just say as
General.
town
purpose.
residents yourself, you know, you need to be. I don't know if this has that much bearing on it, but you all have to be residents of the town to be on the board, so.
Mhm,
As a resident, you're promoting residents. I mean, hopefully we catch people from outside. That's the goal, but
mhm,
Anything outside is bonus stuff.
mhm.
I agree. Active lifestyle. Oral.
That sounds good to me. Think we're getting,
Yeah, in the weeds.
yeah.
I know, I don't want to, but yeah.
You gave me the chilies, so.
I think it sounds good.
Mhm.
Beautiful to. The vision, look at the vision statement.
Oh, playful spirit, that's nice.
This is fun.
I mean, I think this is the one where we said we could just leave it and just add. Recreation and open spaces. Yeah.
Yes, if you guys like it, yeah. I've always really enjoyed having the playful spirit in there because I think that is so indicative of our town.
Yeah.
And we are just a playful town when you look at all the cool stuff we have going on.
Parks, yeah, we're just gonna add recreation on there.
And open spaces.
I know.
Mhm.
Yep. I like the statement.
Mhm.
So parks, recreation, open spaces and trails.
And everybody will go, oh, I get it now.
We should make it like bold, the.
Capitalize it. The PROST.
Bing, this thing is binging right now, because that was hilarious.
The only challenge I would provide there too is based on like all of our grants and things is to add health or healthy, happy, healthy.
Engaged a happy, healthy, playful spirit. Too many. happy words.
We could get, happy is also, and with playful spirit, we could say to promote a healthy, engaged and playful spirit.
There you go. And this one says community, which doesn't necessarily dial into only residents too. So if you're looking at just the mission of the PROST, it's the residents, but the vision is the entire community, and that can be believed to be regional. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Great.
we did it.
Yeah. All right, well,
That's
then.
good news.
Thank you again. Are we done?
Roland's smiling.
Next.
Check, mark it off.
Did you just delete that?
Yeah, the whole thing, so.
Okay, on to the next thing.
It's gonna drink.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, sorry.
This is coming up fast.
Yeah, it is.
So doing the Board of Trustees update, we were looking at, I'm sorry, which date? It was the
22nd.
22nd.
Yes.
We were trying to do it because of the budget stuff.
Yes.
Is everybody available?
I think so.
I am not available on August 22nd, I'm sorry. So sorry.
I right, like the hope would be that we could push it back, but then when we're trying to get in front of the trustees asking for money, then it feels like we have to be out there.
That's, if you were to delay, it wouldn't be a bad deal because we're doing the appeals of asphalt on the 23rd. So like, that's kind of all anybody's thinking about until then.
If we did it in September, or
There's-
too late,
There's another regular meeting on the 26th, but that one has a pretty hefty agenda already. The other one will be October 10th, but I will tell you that
Oh, there's nothing in September?
Should be the second. It's the second,
I'm so sorry.
the 12th.
I skipped right past that. The 12th, the regular meeting,
That one looked like
also pretty heavy. But not anything,
proclamations are fab.
don't know, yeah, so.
those are
and
I
these-
couldn't make
these
it to that
probably
one,
won't
but-
be here.
Maybe you guys.
That'll be consent agenda. Audit will be a big deal.
Tuesday nights?
Yeah.
Grants presentation.
Marking as the anniversary.
And then liquor board. I think that one might be okay.
Yeah.
Majority of those are proclamations, consent agenda.
Those aren't necessarily on.
I would recommend that.
So should we recommend the 12th? You can't be there, Laurelyn, on the 12th?
And I
Oh,
won't be able to
Never
make it
mind.
either.
Why shouldn't even look at it?
Sorry, but
Boom, 12.
Robert and John can be.
Do you think the October 10th would get us past some heavier things that are on the agenda, which we could just thinking about it, if we kind of stick ourselves somewhere in where there's a lot of large items that they're thinking about, it might not necessarily go over as well as if we're presenting with maybe not some large scale items where we're saying, here's a couple more projects we're looking to do in the future. Here's where we're at with the projects that we're working on. One of the biggest roadblocks that we're finding is just getting the funding for these. We have community partners coming in here. Clearly, we have people that want to do things within and help us achieve our mission and vision.
We'll be too late
You
for the
might
trustees.
speak better to that. Our internal budgets were already due, but that's more operational, not large
Not CIP
scale,
stuff.
not CIP stuff, so. That's all September 1st, but. Let me look at one thing real quick. If you want to discuss who can be at which meeting real quick, so we can throw some of them out, the options would be the September 12th is a regular meeting. The 26th is a regular meeting, and then the 10th of October would be a regular meeting.
I just. Rebecca, are we too, will we be too late?
I think the earlier the better. Especially after this last meeting. I have a good board update for you guys, so
Okay.
the earlier the
I mean,
better.
what are we shooting for? And only thing that I would put out there is I would like a line item for the skate park. I'm tired of begging and pleading for stuff. I think line items and getting some kind of this is what we would like to accomplish.
Mhm.
And there, is there some way to get a nest egg of such and such, and we could argue amongst ourselves on how to spend it, like something like that, because it's so hard to do anything when you've got nothing to start with. You got nothing.
October could work because
So those are I mean, if they got big capital projects coming and you take a % off, just nip away at a couple things just to throw them out there for
yeah,
other things. It's just, I mean, that's always our problem. These guys come out here with everybody wants something.
yeah.
And we can't even start anything, 'cause we don't even know,
What type of money we have?
we don't have any money.
So strategically, I think October would work. And the reason why is, the departments are submitting their budgets, they're gonna do as low as they possibly can, operational. They're really gonna go for, what's essential. And then the big review time for the board starts in October. And that's where we say, does this align with our strategic plan? Does this align with our priorities right now? And that's when we give feedback and make changes. So October could work because it's gonna hit that time where we're really considering our priorities.
Okay.
So and that would be a nice time to hear about, importance and feedback from the community. From the board. So I think if you guys push it or recommend it for a certain meeting later on, I think it'd be okay, especially if you all can come, because that's the force of many people coming is very telling, so.
What would we have accomplished by October?
We can follow up on the bike fix stations that we presented the first time,
Would
right?
they be in?
Should be, they were an 6 to 8 week lead time.
Where did
They were
the funding
purchased
for that come from?
just out of My general RM, similar to
Same,
what,
okay.
similar to what,
Yeah, okay,
had
cool.
for years, yep.
Yeah, that's, I mean, that's, that's the kind of stuff like we, I just go back history, I'm going back 3 years of escape, we've begged, pleaded and tried to get some. We've been able to get a certain amount of money, pretty good, and using it wisely. We just cut it out of that area and just be like, all right, we're just gonna go with past history and use that money. Because that's like, they're like a starting ground, I know. It's just
Yeah,
trying to come up with another way to break it up, like. Because it's hard to, everybody's like, well, I don't wanna do it yet, cause we just don't know, it's like, well.
It's
we
really
kinda
hard.
Do know.
It's also just really hard because like no other space has that either. Like there's no budget line for any particular spaces.
There isn't.
For that specific
And I think
reason,
that's
just
great.
because like,
Like baseball doesn't have a line
things
item,
break.
tennis court doesn't have a line item, they pay electric bills over there. Playgrounds don't, I mean, like, there's no line items there's sand line items to recoat the sand. But there's no line
Sand,
item
gravel, and
to
mulch.
replace nuts and bolts at, let's go with the skate park, there's no line item to do anything for the. Disc golf, there's no line item for anything like that, it's like. Everything needs something.
and that's where there's that general fund.
Then it's a fight over.
Which, to be honest. A chunk of that has gone to the skate park every year,
Yeah, it has.
and other facilities haven't, such as the disc golf,
Yeah, sure, it's
So-
who's fighting for it.
And that's the thing, like,
It's who's fighting.
where
for
does it go? And
Right, exactly.
it's really,
And,
the biggest thing for
I
those.
love,
line items
these guys
is
are great,
safety.
everybody's great, but pickleball is now here. Right?
Mhm.
Skate park's been here for 2.5 years.
Yeah,
I mean, these guys are great, but they're walk in, walk out, and that's kind of
Right.
the problem with everything,
and kind of where we get to bring this full circle, is we identified potentially taking Viewpoint and adding a better surface in pickleball mats is one of the things that we're trying to accomplish to accommodate the pickleball.
Mhm.
So like, maybe next year we accommodate more at the skate park, and that's the decision of this board. Maybe we try to force the accommodation of the disc golf, but like, when people come and present, that's what we have to take into consideration. But to take that into consideration and take that into the budget that I present just for operational stuff, like those things don't necessarily mesh, I could present a capital improvement and then it potentially goes to the board and then
Yeah,
you guys
that's
can
what I'm
back
trying
that,
to
like, those are the things we'd have to discuss there.
So we'll do a follow-up of the items that we presented before, right? And tell them
Mhm.
like the cool stuff that we. A brief.
Yep.
Very brief. This went really great, and I think that would be a great time to brag about the amount of people that showed up at the skate park for the 4th of July. How great that was. Take some pictures to show them the improvements that were made since we had last presented. And then I think at our next meeting, then we can talk about what we want to really be asking the board. Is that right?
Mhm.
And I think just as a group, if there was a designated amount of money where you could be like, here's your starting point, go find more, here's your starting point, go find more. Like if these guys would have came in and be like, we got about $3,000, what, can you? Got $3,000, you guys want to get started, try to find some more money, and you'd be like, I got $3,000, we can buy some chain, pour some counting, we can do some stuff. And we can find more people to be like, all right, now if we had another $1,000, we could finish the last one. And that's, been the way we've been doing it.
At the skate park.
At the skate park, we get someone in, it's like find the people to come and do it.
Right.
And then we get the people to come and do it. And then I'm always going to Home Depot buying shit because it's,
Are you?
oh yeah, I mean.
I
So
don't think
that
that's a
would
good-
be nice to have like
Yeah.
that kind of a thing. Like instead, like.
It might be, maybe I'm stepping over, but I don't think that at this point, any board actually has a budget, right? Like, there's no specific amount of money given directly to the board to use.
Yeah, and that's like
So-
exactly what we're not doing.
Right, so I think that's where you're trying, we're crossing the line if we're saying those types of things. Now, like I said, if we want to try as a board to say the best way to try to fund a project is to ask the board of trustees for a capital improvement project,
Mhm.
you guys can recommend that to me, and I put that in the capital improvement budget and try to push that through on behalf of the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. Like those are the kind of things that we can do, but to set aside like a specific allotment of money for us to then
So
figure
can we-
out what we want to do later with it, that's
So like, I-
We're not
not gonna
making
happen.
spending decisions here.
Right.
No, we're
That's,
not.
Yeah.
we're just,
You're advising on what-
We have that.
what we can ask for.
Yeah.
5,000 to do something. Well, can we just do that? Like, hey, let's just do 20 grand for those dudes, let's do 50 grand for those dudes. I mean, just start, I don't know, I can make a laundry list. of
You
capital
always
improvement
can,
projects.
and you know,
Is
I
that
have,
really like a-
well, we have a 5-year plans for our capital improvements that
It's
I,
5 years.
every single year we have to. Look at our 5-year plan, reassess, thank you. And of course, like the more projects we want to put on that list. That kind of garners the interest and you'll see if they're proposed, how many people from the public come forward, and then the more people, as we've seen. Come forward, then we get the interest, then we try to find the funding. And what can we get as
Is there a
capital
list of capital
improvement?
improvement projects now that are in the works?
There are
The master plan for one.
the master plan,
Well,
Is it-
no, that's in your.
It's your thing, plan.
Last year, we were held to only essentials, so the
That's right.
CIP fund that we got was a safety CIP. And then irrigation, like a small irrigation upgrade, and that's it, because every department was held. to
Yeah,
only
it got
essentials.
axed, yeah, because that's the peak was supposed to get improved.
and then we had the.
Yeah,
the
there was a
safety
lot of
upgrades.
requests that almost got,
Shed out there.
that had to get taken, so yeah.
All the wins that you guys are talking about right now all came out of their general budget for spending.
Mhm.
So if that's where you guys are making recommendations that are really paying off, that are recommended from the board, I would say that recommendations that they need more money to do things like that might be something, that pot of money that you
To
guys have
increase that
already
line
been
item.
successful in. Yeah,
That sounds fair enough, because I
Yeah.
feel like we have a good relationship where we can come and go, and I use
Right.
begging and pleading as a. Because it's not there, so it's hard to be like, I got my fingers crossed this will work okay, and hope something didn't happen that I don't know about, like those things like that, but I know that. We've got a really good relationship, and I believe that we are working all together to use the money wisely and get stuff going. So yeah, that'd be great. I mean, that's probably the easiest way to
Yeah.
go about it would be to.
so if you're saying all of our successes so far, and you're listing all these things, and you're showing pictures of skate park,
Mhm.
bike stations, all those kind of things, and say these were funded from this part of the budget. And to do more of these
Yeah.
smaller projects that we need, we need more money there.
Yeah, that's a
And
great
then,
idea.
and then that wish list with the big projects, that's what's gonna really make recommendations for CIP projects, I would say.
I think those are important because kind of like, you were saying, when it gets on the agenda and people do go look at the board of trustees agenda, I look at every single one.
Mhm.
And if they see something they're passionate about, they show up. And if you know people that are using the skate park and you got an item on the board of trustees thing, have them show up, have them do a brief little talk, because that plays a big role in all 7 people up there. It makes a big impression when a lot of people show up for an item.
If you can get a kid to, oh my God.
Well, that's you don't have to do, because that's who goes to the skate.
Yeah.
If you have the one-offs, Robert, myself, or older go there, but the oldest people there, it's.
I'm just trying to figure
you
like
get-
broader deals, like. Say, for example, if you had more wiggle room in your budget, if these guys showed up today, you could be like, we got some wiggle room, let's see if we can get some traction here.
Right,
But
Mhm.
without any wiggle room, it's hard to even
So,
think.
I mean. I guess, how do I say this? Do you want me to put in my budget and ask for a larger? Minor park improvements is where it would come from.
Yeah, I think that'd be a
Budget.
great place to start.
Because this is the one where we talk about like. It's lovely to get like partway through the season and be able to say, I think we can. Upgrade a little bit at the skate park, right? Just for instance,
I know this.
just saying, because it's here. And then we say, okay, we also need to upgrade, one of the rockers at WCP, right? We're gonna do that.
Mhm.
Then all of a sudden the slide goes down and those things are like 22 grand. And
Yeah,
the budget
and then
line
just
is
8 out.
30,000 and
Goodbye.
we're already, that one line item takes the entire.
Yeah.
Do you have to be specific, Billy, when you ask for that? or add that into your request or whatever?
Yeah, so if
You
they,
do.
if the board asks me, what is this gonna be for, there
They
is a
will.
description, and when
Mhm.
they do, there
Mhm.
will be a description that has been set before, but then. Me as the manager, I change things to, you know, the things that I see fit as far as pushing our agenda
Yeah.
forward to the board.
Hmm.
So if that is a line, which minor park improvements is everything we're talking about here.
Mhm.
To make it better for our community, if that's something you want me to increase or ask for an increase. And then we can say, you know, just look at the presentation, and these are the things that we're doing to really promote our mission and vision, the
Mhm.
health of our community. If that's where we're going, I mean, if we're gonna make a strong case together, I'll absolutely ask for that money up front, and then just say, can you listen to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board on what
I-
we're looking for?
And
I think that's a
updating
great
paint,
idea.
when we're talking about updating painting over at Viewpoint. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not a new project. We are maintaining what we already have.
Yeah, and then, you know, there is a piece of my budget that is for stuff like that. Well, it's more for things that get broken over time.
Mhm.
But I mean, that one might be a capital improvement ask, depending on how much that goes for.
And I think it's a great idea, because
Okay.
it'd be awesome to get. I mean, yeah, if you could help those guys out, you know, and there's a dog, there's everybody around, if you just give them a little bit, that'd be. Makes it huge, and
Yeah.
it grows huge, I mean, I just use ours, and we started with nothing, basically nothing, it's grown and grown and grown, and. The volunteer efforts and the bigger the events and everything,
And I think
it just, you know, it keeps getting bigger.
They
and
will
bigger and
look
bigger.
at the efforts that we've done
Mhm.
and see that they've been successful and like it. Unfortunately, I would just say a smaller level so far,
Yeah,
but just say, look what we could do if we had just a little bit more, and we could plan these projects that are in that medium range now.
Mhm.
And kind of, right, that was our goal, is to get some wins.
yeah,
And then start building on some of these larger projects, especially if we're looking and say, hey, our goal is to do this WCP grassroots. Like, we're not going out for a grant, we're not really gonna try to ask for money up front. We're gonna try to get community partnership, help, and labor from. Everybody around here, like, look what we're really trying to do, we're trying to improve,
Mhm.
you know.
I think what you said also, that a lot of your budget is, that's not from the capital improvements, but goes toward replacement or fixing things, whatever. I think it's important to also bring up to the board, some of the vandalization that's going on in the
Mhm.
city, and how some of these projects that we're working on and working toward are going to help improve that situation overall. I
Oh, that's
mean,
great.
having like the skate park, having pickleball courts, having places for kids to go, things to do. I mean, whatever, I just think it's really important that they hear that
Mhm.
and say, okay, we're talking about this, that money that's put aside to replace and take care of all the things that are being vandalized.
Yeah.
Let's put that in a productive fund, and let's get things here for people to do so that we can, do you know what I mean?
Love that,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
yeah,
absolutely
I
love
can't
that.
speak 100% for a skate park, but I feel like the more I go there, like I get hellos and highs, and I'm like,
Yeah.
the kids are more interactive, and I don't, you know, I
Eh.
feel like it's treated better.
Yeah.
I feel like it's maybe an overwhelming. I don't know if it's 100% or if it's any better or worse than any place else, but it just, the presence there is a lot better. And my son's only 10 and he goes there by himself, and there's no that, like, he's, you know, and so
Eric and
helping
I,
everybody get
sorry.
involved in it, you know, so they're putting a little more work into it and taking pride in it, you know, kids showed up, and I told you about the $100 that I never paid anybody.
Yeah.
But they showed up, right? I mean, so they're taking pride in their area for, you know, like, keep it as clean as their bedrooms probably, but it's at least pride, so.
There was such a respectful kid over there yesterday. Eric and I were over there. We were just kind of picking up, walking, talking. We came from Public Works at a meeting, and, you know, we were just going over some concerns, things that we can talk about, try to improve, as always. And he came up and he chatted with us and talked about how they use some of the things that, you know, might not be the safest right now. We were just trying to tell him that that's, you know, we're trying to make upgrades, but we're really trying. And he was like, I understand if you have to take them away, you need to do your job. I'm not gonna say anything, but, you know, I'm just giving you my opinion. He was very respectful to both of us, and he said, thank you for helping us clean up. We're gonna try to clean up after ourselves. So like, it is stuff like that, and the little stories that, you know, they kind of get you there. And it's like, I would love to be able to improve
Yeah.
that area.
That's awesome.
any space, because you know, those kids are pretty much everywhere, right? It's just
Yeah.
one little,
There.
Yeah,
so.
that pride builds ownership.
It
So
does,
then they're like,
yes.
this is my space, right? And then they protect it. and-
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, we are kind of just, we went into D and we need to talk about the ideas for the presentation now that we're kind of thinking about pushing it back. Should have done this earlier, we were talking, but I wanted to introduce everybody to Dominic, Dominic Trombetta. He is our first ever, and we can credit Eric for this one, it was his idea this year, intern for marketing in the recreation program. So we're really just like over time trying to push that, the marketing piece, which is huge to get our recreation numbers and not just the numbers, but to improve the communication between the town staff and the people using our programming. Dominic was a former site manager for recreation, and we went through the entire process of hiring and Dominic.
Before that, he was batting cages.
In batting cages, so
Oh,
he's
man.
working his way up, but he actually did a really nice job in both of his interviews. There were, how many candidates? Did we go through like
Yeah, there was an original, like, I think the first interview was 7.
seven at the interview? So Dominic is here he's gonna help do our marketing for PROST on this one, so he's gonna
Nice.
put the presentation together, so we're gonna give him all the ideas for it, he's gonna make the PowerPoint and whatever, you know, he'll send it back out to us, and we can make our notes like we did last time, so you know what we're speaking, so that's what Dom's here, and he's doing a great job so far.
Pleasure to meet you all. Sorry
Nice.
for late arrival, but
I didn't tell him
I
where we
was right
were,
there.
so that's my bad.
He
went to the office
Nice move.
I saw you at the office, yeah, and I
Yeah.
was like, I wonder if he's supposed to go or what.
So, you wanna take some notes on the ideas that just, and we can, since we have if we're gonna go with the 10th, is that
Yeah.
consensus? Okay,
We're
so we have a
talking
little more
about
time, but
October?
October 10th, and I can move that back within our, but, just to get things going, I think, you know, the biggest idea to start with would be going over just a quick synopsis of what we presented last time.
We get some fresh pictures and maybe something cool from the 4th of July, right?
Yeah,
Skate park, because we presented the skate park last time. Do you have
I
some?
think pictures
Yeah,
of
I do.
like some other activities too, like the skate
Yeah.
park. I think we'll take pictures when we're over there playing pickleball.
Yes,
Maybe we should, I mean, why not? Put pictures of people playing frisbee golf or whatever.
Yeah,
Let's put it out there. Let them see that we have interest in a lot of different things in the
I
community.
think the
beginners
picture,
clinic.
the frisbee golf could be
Yeah, and I've got some of those.
part of our ask too.
so I mean,
What we're gonna, well, maybe not ask, but what we're gonna be working on.
what I
I
would say
agree.
too, like just pictures of interest, it's just all of the partners that have come to us, right? So
Yeah.
pickleball
Mhm,
has come to us, or our actually Board of Trustees meeting, right?
mhm.
And they came here, and then we have the disc golf. Came here,
Are
We
you
had the
presenting the
ADA
Memorial
pack.
Park thing?
ADA,
Is that part of this?
yeah, but I think we'll try to show it as like this is something we're gonna try to get the community involved, and maybe not asking the trustees for money for that,
for what?
for the veterans.
Yeah.
memorial.
But yes, that's gonna be more of a
Support though, I
grassroots.
mean, like,
Yeah.
not necessarily monetary support, but I mean, like, just support. Individual support, whatever it be. I mean, if
Yeah.
somebody believes in it, it'd be like, hey, yeah, I want to give whatever.
It's not like we're saying absolutely not. We're gonna
Right.
see where we can go
Yeah.
with like the initial community piece of that and
Yeah.
getting as many partners as we can, and then.
I-
Who knows?
Yeah, I say, here's the project, it's gonna be community source, we're gonna be looking for all these partners and people to
Right.
contribute. That's all you need to do right there, I would say,
Yeah.
because then we'll be like, oh, we could contribute, or, just
Well,
we're
exactly. I
setting them
just
up
think
for
it's
the
worth
future.
mentioning,
Yeah.
so that they're aware of what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
I'm a firm believer, if you start helping small groups out, do a little bit here and there. The favor will be returned 100-fold when you're like,
Mhm.
you wanna haul some dirt up at the Veterans Memorial, guys, that,
Like,
I mean,
absolutely.
they'll be like, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
It's just.
Okay, so like pictures of interest, pickleball, disc golf, the ADA docs, the WCP memorial will get on there. I would love to go, touching on the things that we talked to them about last time that we're making some improvements on would be the bike stations.
Mhm.
So
The dog
current,
park, didn't you talk about the dog park or something? Is that another thing that we need to present to them, or is that something that's already like a done deal? On the
No.
east side or something?
Oh,
Oh, no,
no.
no.
Oh, no, that's not.
that was
okay.
just in community.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Just your wins, I think that's
Oh,
the
gotcha.
focus that I introduced you to this project before, when we did it, or we, you know.
Hmm.
Here's our progress, or we're super successful, look how awesome it is.
when's skate park upgrades, the ones that you guys poured this year?
Mhm.
The signs, all the park signs that went in.
Mhm.
Are they in?
No, that was sarcasm.
We have
Wait,
hope
how
for
did I
us.
say
I felt it, so I didn't look over right away.
It wasn't directed. Will we have any soon?
It better be some by October 10th.
Yeah, so that'll be a success,
So that'll be a success.
The ballparks,
manifesting.
I mean, take pictures of that and present that, that's been a great success.
Our renovations at the baseball fields.
Robot.
More
Oh,
tomorrow.
robots.
Yes.
That's more departmental, but
Yeah, I mean, some of this is departmental, but you know, it's not like it's.
Still, why not showcase
Sort of
it? I
rally-
mean,
It's your
rally
budget.
behind it, yeah.
That's true.
It's your money for your
Mhm.
department.
Does that,
Pretty soon here, we're gonna help the Main Street Market too. We'll just take the robot out and it'll do like the whole layout. And do the,
I
like,
just thought that would be a
the
great
shape.
idea.
The trees might interfere. It doesn't love trees, so we'll see. But
I've been out there
That's go-
spray
yeah, it
painting
like-
the grass.
it does. It starts to lurch. It's like, I lost myself. Somebody help me. That's what it does when it gets
If
lost.
we're worried about robots taking over the world, all we have to do is plant more trees.
That actually solves a lot most of it.
humanity just might make it.
Live in tree houses is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is amazing. I love this group. Anything else on, so current improvements, we get a bike station that should be in before then. The memorial kind of goes with the pictures of interest from community partners, skate park upgrades, the park signs, baseball field renovations.
The amazing, the Kids to Parks Day, that was a success. That was amazing.
How did the fishing derby and all that go? I don't even know where it was.
I wasn't in town.
There were a lot of kids
That
at
was good.
both of them.
Okay.
Those ponds have been getting hit up a lot.
So maybe just even a section on just events, because there's been several.
Park and play and kids to parks.
Chance for you guys to, you know, toot.
Mhm.
And is that a line item for you guys for events? I mean,
We don't have an event light, I would know.
I don't know.
So where is that?
If you get to
guys
request
that
one?
going?
How did we get them going? 2020, no sports happened. So we just had like that money to help create a new idea for outside. And now we're just run, like, that's all free. That's all labor
Okay.
at this point for those events. So,
So like for that, you know, we do have what's it, a marketing budget, so we do giveaways through that marketing budget. The hats and the
Water
spinners
bottles.
and water bottles and
I
fun
mean, you
things for
guys
the
are just
kids.
trying, you guys are just trying to pick and pull and make things work from all different directions. Yeah, so
And
I mean,
that's
that's,
kind of how it goes, but like it's
A lot of staffing though for those.
dialed in, yeah, the staffing
The
is a lot, but
staffing is,
seasonal budget that I got, but you know, it's all tied into making sure it's all dialed in.
this goes into, making the improvement budget a little bit bigger, you just.
Yeah.
It all kind of plays like these are things we're doing tightly, let's loosen up a
You
little.
know, any advisory board that says their manager should look for more money, it's not gonna make me upset.
Yeah, I feel like I have a lot of support that we need more money. Right?
Just harm me, I would love to improve everything you
Yeah.
can, so I back you guys 100% in
Yeah.
telling me to do that.
Do you know how many people came or estimate
At,
any of the events, all of them?
you know, I think they did a full count at the fishing station,
Oh.
so we can definitely reach back out to.
Yeah.
Richard,
Or those pictures like from the tree,
Arbor Day.
Arbor Day.
Oh, yeah, let's
Like
put that in there.
The pictures of your blue blocks. I don't know what you guys call them.
Blue box.
There you go.
That's a good name. Makes sense.
It's the company manufacturing.
The picture you guys posted of it, there's like 1 million kids on top of the blue block. So it's like when you look at those well-populated pictures, give a better indication that how well attended they were.
Yeah.
Like those are great pictures, I would say. Just
Yeah.
like we served how many kids? I almost said we touched. There's so many kids. I took that,
Reached.
but it was in my head.
We
so I
reached
couldn't say
out.
it out loud.
Let's move on. Okay, what else do we want to put in this presentation? I mean, we're gonna talk about, you know, the requests,
Yeah, yeah, the future, like future.
the future. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we can talk about too, we had these 5 goals and so far we've already done 2. Well, the bike stations will be in, but we've done the skate park and the bike station.
You did some painting for pickleball already, yeah? Nothing.
The ones that were up at WCP have been there for
Okay.
3 years now. Something like that.
Since before I started, yeah.
So I think we push the pickleball at Viewpoint again.
I'm still,
Right.
that, the distributor is just, I just need to get him up here.
Okay.
Cause he is online and getting us a quote and an estimate, and
Nice.
he would love that. And you weren't here last time, but we talked about, so I did talk to a gentleman who does that for that's what he does,
Living.
a living. But he said that, you know, typically they'll do like a 3 to 5 mil
Oh,
install, so
Like-
it's not gonna be
like resurface, like a.
like a
sense
full
of
resurfacing is what we're looking for.
Nice, that would be so.
And he gave me a
exciting.
general estimate, but he doesn't know until he sees the site.
Okay,
So
so you just think he's gonna be up.
at some
sometime
point, he
soon.
says he's extremely busy and he's gonna be up here at some point this month.
Oh,
And he
good.
will just call me and I said, I will run on over there.
Awesome, that's
Those.
awesome, okay.
This
So-
is a win then, because that's progress on that project for sure. Like, and if it's in motion, then. you
So
know,
that should be
that's-
put in
That was a
faster?
priority.
No, it's
No.
gonna, it's gonna be like, I would say at a minimum, it'll probably be 15 grand.
Mm,
So we do need to like trustees,
Yeah.
please, we need
Yeah.
some cash.
And then if we want to do the pickleball or the mats, that I think we should do proactively rather than waiting for the neighbors to get upset at the sound of pickleball, since those houses are like right there. Those will be a couple grand. They're not cheap, but we only need to do that one,
mhm,
the east side, excuse me, the west side and the north side.
mhm.
So is it cool, like, then we can include costs on there to be like, okay, trustees, it's about 15,000 for this, the pianos, we need another 5
I would have,
Yeah,
I'd say leave that for Billy when he's proving his
Yeah.
budget.
later, okay,
Cause he's gonna be like, these are the projects they're pushing. And this
Okay.
is how much
And
I
this-
think it
yep.
might cost.
okay, so
Yeah.
just kind of show it, talk about it, and then,
And then we can
You'll
work it
deal with
into
the
a
details.
capital improvement project if it's that deal or.
or say if you increase that line item for minor park improvements, that
Mhm.
would fall under this. This is what we will try to accomplish with that extra budget.
Yeah,
Yeah, again. you
Or
could-
example, like this is something.
An
we could
example.
try to.
We're working, yeah,
Examples of
that's what
things.
I'm trying to, yeah.
yeah,
Because we, you know,
with more money,
Or
this is
similar.
what our goals
Yeah,
would be,
yeah.
would be to do these things. or
Yeah, I
something
think
like
once
that.
you get something going, then it's easier to find money when you have a project in the works. And
Mhm.
case in point, yes,
Yeah.
that's-
Mhm.
yep.
Yeah,
a few dollars, we can stretch them to make a little more dollars. It's always.
because anyway, it might cost this much now, but by the time it actually happens, who knows how much it'll cost anyway. so.
And
Oh, yeah, it's always.
also, it is for the basketball community too, because it
Right,
does need to be
right.
repainted anyways. It does need to be resurfaced, because if you're out there and trying to play basketball and there's any sort of moisture, it's really slick.
Mm,
Those other surfaces will be safer, being actually painted as well.
so we want to say that on there, basketball /
Basketball,
pickleball.
pickleball,
There you go.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
trying to improve for both, yeah. Cause yeah,
Okay.
I mean, there's no good basketball courts and all.
Anytime we can push a multi-surface, it's great, unless we're looking for like strictly competition,
mm.
which it would be nice, but
Okay, what else was on there?
The ADA fishing access.
okay, so I do have, I believe did I talk to you guys about this? The grant that I talked to the Department of Wildlife, and they do have a fishing grant, but it was. I mean, they finish it in like applications are due in like April or something like that.
Mm.
And I finally got around to tying into the right person to tell me that. And he said every once in a while they do an exception, but they just didn't have the extra funds this year, but they do very large scale fishing docks. So it's definitely something that we will sit down and talk about getting an application in before, for next year's application. So
Sounds good.
let me put that on the future meetings. I think I had it on there somewhere.
So that can be, that, we could push that through.
Most grants require matching funds, so if you guys are talking about this budget needs to be this big to accommodate, you know, all these grants that we're trying to get free money here, you know, so that's also very powerful.
There's some matching to it, but it's not a huge amount and it
That's
can be in
awesome.
kind.
And that's just like any grant, not just that one, so, oh, and in kind too.
Yeah.
Sweet.
What does that mean?
It means like, let's just say we did in-kind work or labor. And itemized it all, that could be in kind for the match, so let's say. Just X grant says here's $3,000, you need to match it with $3,000 or in kind. Such as the one that we're doing out in front of our offices right now,
Mhm.
we're matching that grant with in-kind labor, so we're doing all of the work ourselves, which
Oh.
is. Probably, to be honest, more so than what
Yeah.
the grant is for.
That's like
in
the
the long run.
value of that.
The
work.
the value of the work.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. No, that's good. That's awesome.
So how many? Okay, how many projects do we want to try to throw or to show? We've got the pickleball, basketball resurfacing, the fishing. Docks, deck, whatever, and then we've got the veterans. And then what else? And you were talking about skate park, I don't know what. The skate park, do we just want to ask for more money for the general fund to support?
That would probably be a better ask, because for me, with the skate park is if we have those funds, we've kind of all talked about, like we did the walk around and say, yes, this is something we want to push forward with.
Okay,
And then they can, approve it whether it's within the budget or not. So I think that's something that we can all consider moving forward if there's that funding.
okay,
I think the
I think it's the probably the more appropriate and respectful way to go about it than. I mean, I would love just to say skate park, boom, done, but I mean. I like to play fair.
okay,
I think it's the right thing to do.
okay. So we're gonna ask for an increased general fund for those things. We're gonna ask for these 3 projects. Right?
consider the memorial project one of your ask for money.
Don't make it
projects.
one of them.
No, that's a really amazing project, but. Like, if you're gonna ask for money for 3 projects, or, you're pushing for a budget for 3 projects, then. Put another one in there that costs money.
Okay. Outside of the master plan,
So I'm a master, it's just.
Doing the master.
Doing.
so
That's
we
not-
do,
Getting a
like,
mess.
what does master plan need to be part of that 3?
If you want to push it, I would say, yeah,
Yeah.
because right now it's.
I think we're over it, so, yeah.
It's part of the.
It's one of our strategic
Strategic.
items, so if you are also pushing it and we've already acknowledged the strategic plan, I think that's really, that promotes it for sure.
Okay, so
Yeah.
master plan, pickleball, basketball, and fishing.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
really, the master plan acknowledges your entire wish list. Because it says, and it does viability and it does locations, it does planning, so in order to move on any of these giant projects, you gotta do the master plan, right? Yeah, so I think that is really pushing your entire wish list by doing that.
Love it.
Yeah,
Okay. And then I feel like that's all big enough, right? Like. that's what
It's,
we
yeah,
need to tackle and,
and we'll start to get this together and we can present what we have at the next meeting. And then if it's too much, not enough, pair it up, whatever we need to do, we can discuss them.
just in that master plan, previously we used companies to help us, do an assessment of what we need. We had used Grasp in the past. I know there's plenty of things that we can do, but I don't know if you want to include in your master plan any assessments that you'd want from an outside.
I think that would be part of the entire idea of
yeah,
researching before we
there will be an RFP that asks for people to apply to do our master plan, right? And then they will come with idea, well, we have to say what we want in that RFP too. So if you have suggestions of we have to have assessments of this, that's great feedback. But then those organizations will say, these are all the things I'll deliver to you, and collecting data and collecting, you know, a baseline is a major part of master planning. So, but if you guys had recommendations and say how important that is, that, you know, they might include that in RFP.
The
So-
walkability assessment for our town would just be huge. If we can get the walkability and the playability and for our portion would be awesome.
Yeah, that's absolutely. All those things that you would be say are so important in the master plan, that's really important.
Okay, quick question. So Dominic is working on this presentation, right, for the board? So you talked about pictures and everything. If we have pictures, do you want us sending them to somebody?
You
Like
can
via
just send
email?
them to me.
Okay,
Yep,
We need some action pickleballers.
yeah.
I like that beginner clinic picture, but if you could have some action ones, that would be really
we'll
good.
get some action ones.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Yeah,
showing up out there, right? Yeah, I know.
There's so many moments I wish we had action photos in our sports that we were playing, mostly me running into people. It's cool.
You good with that? Starting there? Yeah.
Super excited. Thank you.
So Jordan, how long have you been on the board now?
I don't know.
It's been longer than that.
I don't know.
I think it'll be 2 years in.
I have no idea.
It's been a while though, right?
Yeah, it's been
a
a
while.
chunk of time.
I mean, that's kind of my thing of like, we've got, we got a pretty good group now that
Yeah.
have been here for a while. So asking to give Billy some more money so we could make, we're all vested in this thing, you know, and we
Really
have
dedicated.
years showing
Yeah.
it, like. Struggle.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're still struggling. So these are just.
Yeah, that's what they need to hear.
They need to double your fund.
Quadruple. it?
Double. Yeah, you know.
Say it one more time.
Pro said.
I'm just reporting.
Well.
How's that water world? There's water in there? What'd you say?
Right? I think we've done some good stuff. I was like, man, we just get.
Yeah,
Little
that
bit
call to
more,
action
just
is
some more.
those projects
Yeah.
for sure. Okay.
And then. Yeah, where do we want to go with? I want to make sure. That we get so the recreation piece is in there for the kids to park,
Mhm.
park and play days. If you want, we can try to pull some numbers, some hard numbers of how many. People we've had come through our programming so far this year, or maybe
Yeah.
just like summer programming.
Mhm.
We'll look at bringing some numbers into it,
Great.
because I just want to make sure we're not leaving out. The recreation, the open spaces and the trails, because it does, now that we look at it, and say walking trails is one of the things that we're on the call to action, so. Improving what we have.
Well, you guys have numbers, right? Like, I mean, you could compare, like, I assume that your guys' numbers are. Like, growing every year, right, for the recreation program? I mean, can we show that,
I haven't done numbers for this year, but they have the last 3 years now.
right? I
Well,
mean, that would be
especially
cool to have
after
a slide
COVID,
about
Oh,
that.
yeah, and I was just gonna say, that's
COVID
kind
was
of
like a
like,
weird anomaly.
Well,
it's hard to,
Like,
grow up.
yeah, a bunch of people bounced back afterwards, and then some of those people faded back away, so a lot of places are experiencing very strange
Mhm.
changes in numbers, but we did increase last year over the year before, which was a shock for most places.
Yeah.
So,
But we can also
Most people
add talk about the programs that we've added to
Mhm.
try to get to more of the population, just with different things they've been asking for
Mhm.
with taekwondo.
The senior one.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, even just saying that every year you've
Basketball.
added so much more
Pickleball
programming.
at the pickleball at the Boys and Girls Club. Yeah.
maybe dodgeball. So, anybody wants an adult dodgeball team? Sign up.
Then
Adult.
adult, let's see, adult basketball, they're starting.
Trying. Don't wanna promise, cause it's not our space. Another hard part, just a reminder for everybody, we
Right,
can't do things without space, so we're begging PSD right now for.
More gym
extra
time.
Court space.
up here at the school or
So
what,
maybe, I
high
mean,
school? The
that's
new high
something that
school?
we can
They don't
add
give
to
it
this
to us.
presentation.
The old
about
high school.
limitations.
Yeah.
Okay.
We already get both.
The
elementary
awesome things that
schools every
recreation
night.
is doing.
Oh,
how
do you?
it's grown
For-
and the
oh, nice,
limitations
okay.
around it.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, so they're already booked out,
Nice, okay.
but yeah, we're.
Does
trying
the
to
city
get-
have to carry liability on that, or is that through the school?
We do,
You guys do?
Yeah.
Okay.
it just falls under the insurance of the town already.
Nice.
You know, one of the limitations we can put up here immediately is just the fact that we hardly have any. Open space, like our open spaces are maintained just right down through Box Elder is really our open spaces, and that doesn't really present the. People who enjoy those spaces to get away any sort of an opportunity within the town owned. Land,
Mhm.
which also goes right alongside the trail, so it's kind of like a hand in hand thing where they. You know, we need to look forward to improving those. Sweet.
Did any of the funds come through for the owed money or the closing of Sage Meadows or the Peak Trail, you know what I'm talking about, right? The
So,
land acquiring one?
Land acquisition funds.
Yes.
Do we know what's in that?
oh. For the stage, well, that's all just part of land acquisition, and I don't think that has been settled yet.
That's
The Harvest
Yeah.
Village is settled. That the town has been dedicated to the park, but
The money for those dedications comes through the impact fees, which don't happen until they have building permits. So if there's a
No, that's
specific,
not the one, that's not about the one, owed money, right? The-
Before went to.
oh, I know.
In lieu of.
In lieu of.
Yeah,
but
that's
still
still in
that,
process.
that's still in process, because I don't think that development is completely built out, so I think there's.
There's things, but we can't talk about them. So I don't know.
Okay,
We don't know the complete status of it yet.
Okay.
So,
it was,
yeah,
was in, good to see.
Cody,
Cody mentioned that fall
Yeah.
was something that we might be hearing something, that's what I said.
Mm. I would hope that soon. That'd be really cool.
yeah,
It's just the open space.
there's some land, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, that would. Those guys would jump up and down for more open space, but.
yeah.
Disc golfers. He would like the agenda for me.
Is there a way we can find out how much money's in the land acquisition fund?
Let me look into that.
Okay. I'm actually trying to see if it's still available. There's a portion of land that's for sale. That would be beneficial to us for trails. But I don't see it here anymore. We'll have to find out. It's a stretch that runs across the railroad tracks and it goes underneath Cleveland. Where they raise cattle in that small section there.
Mm.
And then it runs all the way to the back of where the grain silo's at. So it includes portions on both sides of Cleveland. And I believe there's a big enough box culvert underneath that. That if we were to do a trail, we could probably get them through. 'Cause remember, that was one of our issues with the trail was Cleveland Avenue was crossing. Well, that would fix that. But I don't know if that piece of property is still for sale.
It's a weird piece of property.
There's another odd piece that's next to community park that's really cheap. But it's like 0.3 of an acre
Mhm.
and it's more over on the industrial side of West First Street, but it's on the west side of the road and it borders the Box Elder. It's just a really odd little strip of land right there. Well, that one's like $39,000. The other one was like $1 million and something, so that's why I'm curious what we actually have in the fund. But it would complete a lot of our section for trail, a lot of our problem, that whole area.
Yeah, I
Just
think
a
that's
thought.
that's a valid asset. How
Yeah.
much money is allocated for
Yeah,
this
let
right
me
now?
see
now.
Yeah.
I'll look into the land acquisition fund balance.
I'll try to reach out to somebody to see if that piece of property is still even for sale.
What you could do with it, is just put cattle, in a trail, because it's.
It is zoned ag, so.
Mhm.
So I guess we don't necessarily need to talk about. Any of the item number 2 and 3, since we're not quite at that portion of the.
No, if we can
Roger,
just put
so-
that meeting on the next agenda just to kind of
there
go
it is.
over what we've
Yep.
thrown together.
Is
Is there anything on the September-
Right there.
For
Yeah.
future calendar, is there anything scheduled
ideal.
for September that we were trying to have
I
somebody
didn't know one
talk
back
to
into
us?
there.
Yeah,
It's actually. turned
No,
into a fair piece of property.
We
yeah.
did talk
'cause
about
we
having
use it
Caitlin come in
For a part of
Yeah.
this access.
and speak
Trail, yeah.
about
And
just events and partnership and stuff
Another one right
like
in the
that.
middle of
That'd be a good one
downtown.
for September.
Yeah,
Or-
Okay,
Pretty much.
so that, yeah, that
It
was
is
my
pretty much
potential
stuff
on
outside
here
the
for
railroad
September
track built up in
13th.
that
Yeah.
yeah,
But we had,
businesses and stuff too, so.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's.
that is good. Then we want to bring up the. Put that back on here. Oops.
Okay.
I did use a skateboard.
Anything else for?
oh, okay, I haven't been thinking about that lately.
Okay. I did, it's done. It's done.
Anything else
Appreciate
for the
that.
future meeting calendar that you guys would like to see on here and have us talk about? I think, for next time, the board of trustees update, I'll bring in all the information and put it in the packet for what I found about the potential grant for the ADA doc.
Mhm.
So we can look at that and I'll send all that information out so you guys can check it out.
Perfect.
I might make a recommendation that you do a review of the community survey that just finished.
Okay.
There's many parts in there related to Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
So maybe just so everybody's familiar
Yep.
with the results from the community survey relating
Yep.
to PROST.
Okay.
I'll get that on there.
We are starting to run late and I really want to make sure we get to, what Teresa was bringing up earlier. Are
Okay.
we good to jump ahead and just kind of
Yep.
get through some announcements?
Yeah, updates, one of the big things that's come up again is that the slide is getting worse over at Centennial and. Working with our typical playground distributor to. Figure out if they can fit a slide, and I got an answer that said no, but they gave me another distributor. I hate asking for. People to give me competitors stuff without seeing, but I need to reach out as soon as I can, so they're gonna hopefully get back to me with some numbers there. If they can actually fit a slide, because the only other option there is to. Look into a CIP and redo the entire playground. It's just unfortunate for one slide, but that company is out of business. So if another manufacturer. Does not fit that, or a distributor doesn't have a manufacturer that will fit that, then. Moving forward, that's definitely gonna move pretty high on the top of the list.
Can it be closed off?
We could put a panel up there and not have a slide. I mean, that would be the. The immediate safety fix. It's not unusable right now, but it's getting to a point where it needs to be addressed immediately, or.
There's
It is a
like hole
concern.
in it For a while, right up in the
There's-
back where
There's a little bit of a wonk
Still
to it,
is,
so.
yeah.
We need to probably get it, I mean, it does need to be.
So
covered, so.
could it be saved as a? Without the slide and a separate slide put in somewhere else? Like a standalone?
That, see, the problem is all of the specific open areas are seemingly very tied into just this one manufacturer.
Mm.
I just mean like the shoots and ladder slide.
Oh, just another feature? in
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
potentially, yeah, potentially. It kind of renders that entire top platform useless, which is kind of a bummer, but
Mhm.
go up there and climb around.
It'll
But
be- it's
that's the
never-
problem.
It's never useless.
Is jumping from it and
Mm.
critical fall height and such, just
You put a pole on it?
safety stuff.
Patrick Pulte?
It's all about the space opening, so
Okay.
getting anything to fit that space is gonna be the same. Does that make sense? So like
Yeah,
the bars are a weird distance in between. It's like usually they're 40 or 36, these are like 36 and a half or something, and they just
Mm.
don't make things that attach to that. It's weird, but I'm trying to make it work,
Do we have
and
friends?
that's why you're not.
I know.
When we have friends, I'm assuming in other municipalities, like I know a lot of times is they upgrade playgrounds, people go, I don't know what to do with this stuff. I mean, can we reach out to, would you have friends? to
See if
reach
they've
out to?
got same manufacturer slide.
I mean.
Yeah.
Fort
That's a good
Collins
call.
updates their stuff and I assume they
Bad
don't just
idea.
throw it away. Windsor had some new parks, right?
Mhm.
They got a marketplace for that.
Well, yeah, I'm just.
There is
saying,
one,
There's like a
yeah.
group of other park managers that,
Someone could use this, right? Seems professional courtesy.
right?
Agreed. So really the biggest updates I have for this group are just like the safety things that we went through with our insurance walkthrough. So the other few would be the gap that's forming around the port in place at Community Park is getting worse and worse through shrinkage. So I'm waiting for the numbers still on this one too, but it's gonna have to be a 1 foot ring around the entire area, cut out and repoured. Don't know exactly how much that's gonna cost, but that's gonna be fairly pricey because port in place itself is pricey. No warranty on that for anything, so that'll have to be something that we I actually will probably put that in my CIP ask this year because it is an immediate safety concern for the most heavily trafficked park in our system, and it's
Yeah.
some areas it's not bad, and we could probably put backer in there and caulk it with flexible caulk, but some of it is getting to be about 3 or 4 inches, so if someone trips in that, not good. So
Just for an educational question, is that an install? I'm not pointing fingers. Is that an install issue? Is this a typical thing?
I think
Is it a-
it can be pretty typical with heat cold,
Yeah.
Okay.
Particularly
Colorado.
particularly our climate,
Yeah.
yeah.
a lot of sun.
Did it reach its life cycle or?
The entirety hasn't reached its life cycle, it's just getting smaller and smaller slowly, as the sun breaks it down and
Yes. Elements.
all of the things, right?
Okay.
Yeah. I fear for how much that's gonna cost, to be honest, but we'll push for that, because it is a pretty important
Big
one.
park.
Yeah, there are a lot of kids there.
What else?
Splash pad's been going pretty well, but we had an issue with one of the feeder tubes going into the chlorine pump.
No, the acid pump.
The acid pump, excuse me.
The line
You can speak
inside
a
the
little more to
acid
that.
pump,
So we're getting that fixed.
hopefully Friday.
How long are you guys keeping that one open for?
Well, a lot of people shut them down right after Labor Day, but
Yeah.
if it's gonna be 85 degrees, I mean, it's up and going. The hardest part is getting those things up and making sure that they're running. Once they're running, we're pretty good at keeping it up and open. So I would say maybe a couple extra weeks if it's still gonna be nice. Usually it's that first cold, rainy day. It's like, okay, we can't take this chance anymore, but when we're done, but I won't put a hard date on it unless that we see that week and it's gonna be rainy that week, then we'll just say Labor Day is pretty much it. But we'll keep it open that long at least. Let's see, other safety, the railing at the skate park above the half pipe, that needs to be higher. Yeah, so we need to talk about getting that done. That would be something we could potentially do with an increased budget, or if depending at the end of the year, if we have some left over in there, because safety concerns are my number one. That's really what those budgets are made for. So.
What's it need to go to? 4 foot, I
I
think.
think for that height, it was it's because right now it's like what, 3 feet or something? It's pretty short.
It's pretty short.
And I think it's like 4.5 to 6, somewhere in there. I
I
don't
don't
remember,
know,
because it
6, but-
changes after you get a certain height, like it has to go taller and taller. The higher up in the air you get, and I don't remember what it was.
So you're
what
gonna
height.
see in 4 footers around.
Yeah, I don't think it's too much, it has to be too much taller, because it's not super tall, but
Did they give any kind of
You have to, I was
like
like,
spindle
that out.
requirements and stuff, like, is that necessary, or can it just be an attached?
Oh.
Because like. Can't, I mean. Kids can't fall through
it's supposed to be over 4 feet,
over 4 feet.
yeah. Prevent accidental falls.
and you're talking about
Yeah,
So what I would say is, let me look up the current, playground safety standards and how far those need to be for
I would say how. high.
entrapment. Oh, I thought you meant how
Well,
wide.
usually it's like 4 inches or something like that, so I think the standard. Can't put your head through it.
Right, and that would be,
But
I
it'd
was
be
going
like,
there, yeah.
isn't it like we just put like a.
They're
top-
wide enough, it says, like, they're the right distance.
They're the
apart,
right
you just have to go up,
But they have to go fully up to 4 foot. 'Cause
at least,
Right,
or
a lot
it's
of-
supposed to be over 4 feet.
The parts that I've been seeing with the higher railings are just open ended. So I thought that we could just add a foot in what we have there without adding spindles to it, kind of like, that was just, if that's possible, it would save a whole lot of spindles.
Okay. They just came out and did this assessment, so it's definitely something that we could. We're supposed to check off these items that we can and. Talk to them about what their requirement would be
Yeah, if we
for
could
that.
put a topper on it, or if it needed to be, spindle.
Might as well make the deck bigger.
That's good size, 4 foot's a good size.
Let's just get a new-
And then the last one on that list, I think, was the springers at WC.
Yep. And those in. It's all part of one master quote.
And
The-
signage at the demonstration.
The EWF at Viewpoint has been ordered for. I don't even know how long. There is no. Mill that is grinding engineered wood fiber anywhere. So we are just waiting for that to be put in. I've got community partners. Over in Viewpoint that have reached out and said they will help us put it in. Just the order has been signed and it's ready to come, but we just literally, there's nobody making EWF.
It's the
Can't
same
get it.
reason we held off on Centennial last year, like right about now, for some reason, everyone ran out.
This was,
And then we got a ton last year, right when we did that construction project.
I think I signed it right around just right after the 4th of July. So,
Maybe same things last year, we'll get a giant influx at the end of September, or October. We'll see.
Okay.
that needs to be done.
That's it for that list.
The safety list, I think those are the
Safety list.
biggest things that I wanted to present. Those are like the safety concerns that we're looking at. And we did, I should speak to this. We did talk with, we had a walkthrough of the entire disc golf with them. They're really very nice gentlemen.
Realistic.
Very realistic. They were not asking for the world or anything. They just wanted to be heard and they want to be partners very much like they were tonight, just like one of the big concerns was the ADA crossing access and then just really getting it back up into better shape because Kyle, the one on the left, he had left for a few years and he was helping to do like some of the maintenance around the baskets and stuff like that. And since he wasn't doing it, he didn't pass it on. So he's like, if we can get it back up to where it was, I'll then continue the maintenance. It's like, if it's a partnership, that's fantastic. Kind of like what you do with the skate park, like absolutely willing to work with anybody in the community that's helping us improve. So
I think you guys know, or maybe you don't know that Kyle designed it.
Yeah.
So he designed when we first had the disc golf put in, he designed it.
Oh, nice.
And they designed and donated, I think, the signs, the disc golf signs that are there on each side. So yeah, huge part of the community.
Griffin Greens, his last name's Griffin.
Yeah,
It's
and the other
very
person who
nice.
designed it, last name was Green, so.
Very
Yeah.
cool. That is nice.
And Kyle's brother works at Discmania and he did the walk with us and he was like, we want to help any way we can.
Oh,
nice.
so cool.
Yeah.
And they manufacture the things that they were talking about too, with the like holes for.
Foot golf.
Foot golf, so they've got.
Multi-use facilities again, anytime we can do that, it'd be pretty cool to do.
Remind him
Pickleball
we have an
unit.
opening on the board.
Huh?
You could remind him that we have. an
Yeah.
opening.
Absolutely, that would be another
Hey.
piece of the community partner. Okay, I will.
Is Discmania willing to help donate towards that project? then?
100%.
They absolutely said they would.
Yep. He's like, just let us know and we'll figure something out.
Perfect.
That's very
Just
cool.
Figure that out then.
Okay, what else?
I know, I gotta leave here. I
Okay,
probably.
I'll just go ahead and answer what Teresa was gonna talk
Yeah.
about. Yes, it's overgrowing with weeds. I get as many concerns about the color and the,
You.
oh, well, yeah, I have been
Yeah.
talked to a lot of times about.
I'm hearing
the-
it a lot.
So I got an estimate from a local company just to throw it out there for resurfacing it, and it's like 35 grand to get that whole, the trail. I can't think of the name of it.
Pressure fine.
Crusher pines, thank you. The crusher pines ripped out, replaced with something that is not red. So either it's gray crusher fines or some sort of a multi-use facility type sandy.
Didn't they used to just take like some type of, I don't know, whatever, and just like mow the weeds, or not really mow them, but they just kind of pulled them out? They used to do that.
So here's what I'm getting at real quick. I'm going to try to put a low grow rangeland mix in there that is alkali, so it should stand up to any sort of dog waste.
Mm.
But I'm needing to use the weeds as ground cover or grow
Oh.
cover, crop cover, whatever you want to call it.
Okay,
So when we plant closer to the fall in a couple weeks, we don't get it all blown away because it is a hard surface, but it's specifically designed for really hard soils.
oh,
I have a
okay.
seed specialist that I worked with to help develop a blend
Nice, okay.
from Denver. So we're gonna try to do that because it's non-irrigated. And it's, I mean, to do the entire area, we can do it with a 50-pound bag. We can seed it 3 different times. And it's like $130. So that's my solution to it.
Okay.
And then there will still have a hard surface for the dogs to run on, and we can mow it at 3 or 4 inches. So, and it's a native mix, so it should look pretty good and match the pond area.
So
We're gonna try
red
that.
clay.
No more red
Oh
clay.
my God, put that in the thing. That's.
You don't know how many, once every other week I get a call or someone calls me up.
Yeah.
It always leaks onto the concrete and the concrete looks terrible. We try to clean it up at least 3 times a week and it just goes in the drain, sorry. So I'm gonna try to bind that up with roots and root structure.
So it's gonna look nice too, though, or not?
Yeah, it'll be like, it's got, I could go into, I'll bring the seed tag for you next time.
Okay.
There's like 5 or 6 different types of grass. There's an alkali grass, there's blue grama in it, there's some low grow wheat in it,
Oh, that's
different
nice.
It'll
stuff
be a
like that.
maintained native.
Yes, exactly, but
Okay.
it's more of like a saline sodic mix, so it's high in resistant to alkalinity. So
Nice.
basically dog pee will hopefully not harm it like it normally would to different varieties.
Right, yeah, your grass
Yep.
is just burns with yellow spots in, yeah.
So, but I need the weeds now, and then hopefully either we'll grow it out or we'll shut the dog park down for like a 48-hour period. Spray it until the half-life is to a safe point for them to go back in there next year, or
Okay.
just keep it closed in the spring when we could get some rain. Whatever it is that we maintain that with, hopefully it'll outcompete. That's my goal.
Okay, so what's the time frame of that then? You're talking-
Seeding should start, I want the temperatures probably to drop to about, for this mix, probably to about like average about below 80. So maybe in the next few weeks, we can get a good week to seed it.
Not next week. Next week is 80 to 90 all.
Yeah.
Okay. And the only other thing that I was hearing, okay, on the east side where the baseball fields are at Wellington Community Park, and you know how all the kids like ride their bikes and that one land, that piece of land that's over there, kids will go in there with their bikes and they'll go up and down the hills or whatever. People have expressed interest about maybe putting like an actual BMX.
Mm.
Have you ever heard it? Is that what they call it? Is that BMX track or
Is
whatever?
that at community park?
Or at Wellville.
Or-
No,
No,
she said the
Where
east
Trenton
side
is.
of,
East side of
Oh,
Wellington Community Park,
yeah,
right across from the
where
baseball
Trenton
field.
is.
okay,
Right
yeah,
by the
yeah.
walking
An actual
trail.
pump
The
track,
juices
asphalt
and
pump
stuff
track.
for
Yeah.
bikes.
oh,
So people have stressed,
There is
that would
like-
be a really cool.
I thought Jim Miller got it in there.
They did, yeah, so they did work. There was like equipment out there earlier this year, so it's actually been like touched and maintained. This year, brought back up. I wouldn't say they like added anything or made it permanent, but
Okay.
that's also a pretty big. Like floodplain. I don't know if you guys.
Well,
looked
and
at
that
it during
was-
the
that
rain,
was
but that
what
was,
I-
that
Yeah.
whole thing was underwater, so we don't really want to put.
we can't put,
anything-
I don't legally, I don't think we
Yeah.
can put permanent
Yeah.
structures
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we had talked about one time when, I forget, when there was somebody from the community came in
Yeah,
and they wanted to get involved in it.
And they were, so about 2 weeks later is when we had somebody out there.
Yeah, but it
with-
fell back on that being in the floodplain. We couldn't do anything major in there.
Right.
It was
Oh,
more
gotcha,
of
okay,
a
because that's what-
maintenance.
okay, so
Yeah,
it sounds
yeah, we
like-
just
Maintain
Yeah,
what's
it's
there.
in the
We can't do any major
Yeah,
changes.
we can upkeep the hills that that are there because they're natural.
But for BMX and mountain bike and stuff, dirt trails are a norm. Like,
Yeah,
Right,
it's not uncommon to be just dirt
Yeah.
manicured to whatever shape. they
Unless it's.
want.
To
an
whatever shape
asphalt
they want it,
pump
okay.
track, But yeah,
Yeah, but there are the pump tracks
Those
that
are
are
cool.
made out of asphalt. I mean, there's.
oh
some really
gosh, that
cool
sounds
stuff.
like a lot, yeah, but okay.
Yeah, we'll
So-
put that on with the
rhythm though.
half and no skate park. We'll add one. in
Yeah.
there.
We'll add that.
Okay.
So if you're.
I have a-
People were
I have a
asking
couple
about it,
updates.
it's
Oh, yes,
not
Becca.
uncommon to have a dirt trails for bikes.
I think that they kind of knew that, I think they were just asking if it could be something that was more like designated for that, but it sounds like if it's a floodplain, maybe not. If you want to go in there and do it and it looks okay, fine, but it's not going to be ever, it can't ever be designated for
It
anything.
kind of is designated, right?
It's designated, just won't be,
Concrete versus some kind of.
Yeah.
structure, Right. It'll
it can be maintained and
Okay,
Public Works did do some maintenance down
I
there.
saw
We
it,
had
yeah,
the
that
community
they-
work.
yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
no
For
fun.
first update,